So the last what we see is the flora and fauna of forest ecosystem. Flora means the plants. Flora, floral thing, plants. Flora is the plants naturally occurring in the particular area. And similarly, fauna means the animals. So fauna that means the animals naturally living in that area. Flora and fauna of a forest can never be same throughout the world. It is not possible that okay, ये particular forest है उसमें ये चीज तो होगा ही होगा. No, it is not necessary. Each and every forest will have its own peculiar kinds of trees, peculiar kind of animals that will be dependent on the soil content over there. It will depend upon the climatic conditions over there. So it is going to be, hence it is going to be always different. So flora and fauna of a forest can never be same throughout the world. Forests of very cold region or moderately warm regions and those of hot region will have their own particular types of plants and animals. So a single description cannot serve the purpose. There are different kinds of forests of India which are categorized having life forms. For example, first one is tropical rain forest, such as those on western coast of India and northeast Himalayas. Then the flora which is available in such kind of the forest are the evergreen trees, bamboos, fern, shrubs, etc. And in the fauna will be the jungle cats, leopards, monkey, flying squirrels, snakes, centipedes, millipedes, many insects, snails, etc. The next kind of a forest is a temperate deciduous forest, such as those found in the eastern coast of India. So in the eastern coast of India, where you have got the forest, they are the evergreen, temperate deciduous, and they have got flora which is teak, sandalwood, sal, etc. So the trees which are there will be of teak, sandalwood or sal, whereas the fauna will be of moth, beetles, deer, wolf, foxes, etc. The third one are the coniferous forests, such as those found in the Himalayas at altitude above 1700 to 3000 meters. So one which is at the very top heights, these are the ones which are going to be coniferous forest. The flora over here will be the fir and the pine trees, the Christmas tree kind of things. So the pine trees and the fir trees will be there as a flora. Fauna, a very few animals, because they are not able to sustain that good amount of the low temperature. That's why, such as squirrels, deer, goat, wolves, some birds like robin and sparrow will be available over there. So there are quite a few amount of fauna over there. Now let us study some particular forests in India. So we have got first, which is the Gir forest in Gujarat. The flora contains the largely shady trees such as the peepal, acacia, neem, etc. Some wild bushes and grasses. Whereas the fauna contains animals like bear, dogs, cats, rats, rabbit, crows, kite, vultures, and most significant animal, the lion. The lion of the Gir forest is very famous. People go there for what we call it as the expedition, or we can say as the natural sanctuary of India. So one of the sanctuary for where lions can be available easily to be seen are in Gir forest in Gujarat. The next is the Jim Corbett National Park in Uttarakhand. So flora, various kinds of trees including the pine, shrubs and grasses. Fauna, various kinds of animals. Now here especially it's the tiger. The Jim Corbett National Park is the main one for tigers. So tiger safari is over there, which you can see certain tigers when you go for a safari over there, and they have protected the tigers over there in a proper manner. That's why they are called as a special fauna is tigers. Jalatpara Sanctuary in West Bengal is the next one, which is flora containing trees including banyan tree, and the fauna contains animals and birds, especially the rhinoceros. So the rhinoceros is the one typical characteristics of this particular sanctuary. Now we come to the last part, that is just about the risk of ecosystem. With the increased industrialization and scientific approach to our life, the natural resources and rich natural heritage which were being preserved for centuries have begun wilting greatly. Any kind of imbalance in nature results into severe danger to our ecosystem. Its treatment with nature results into severe danger to our ecosystem. Its treatment with nature has posed today many serious challenges and problems like climate change, vector-borne diseases, decay in wildlife and its resources, and food and water shortage. Exploitation of natural resources, prevalent all over the world, has erupted into severe ecological degradation, which is definitely the biggest threat to proper functioning of our ecosystem. So, what do we exactly try to say is that we are cutting down the forest, we are creating an imbalance in the ecosystem, like when we saw the pyramid, when we saw about the pyramid, what we saw in the pyramid was that if this is the green plants, the base, if I remove the base, if I destroy the base, what will happen? Automatically this much, if this is reduced, this automatically tapers this. So according to that, if this cuts down to this much, then automatically this is going to taper down to this way. So overall, an imbalance in any particular kind of ecosystem is going to lead into the you can say damage or a threat to the functioning of the ecosystem. That's why it is very necessary that we are going to be in a place where we are not going for deforestation. In fact, we go for afforestation. We grow more trees, grow more plants, so that our ecosystem is balanced. So that's why we need to restore and conserve the ecosystem. Restoring an ecosystem by establishing the finer balance between organism and environment is the best way that being a responsible human we can do. So what we can do is try to restore the system. How do we can restore the system? By not cutting the trees, that is one part, and not only cutting them but in fact planting more of them. So until and unless the step to preserve the decaying charm of our ecosystem are not initiated, our ecosystem is not going to support us in having a better healthy environment. We will not be having a proper environment unless and until we are supporting our ecosystem. There is an absolute need today to assist nature by not disturbing its integrity and help in gaining its lost delicacy. So it is very necessary that we should not disturb the integrity of the nature. If we are trying to disturb the integrity of the nature, in the way we are destroying ourselves also. By protecting our native natural resources like wildlife, rivers, forests, etc., one can contribute greatly in the preservation of our ecosystem. So what we need to do is just see to it that we are maintaining or we are preventing any kind of a damage to the wildlife, the rivers, the forests, that because as I see that, okay, the Mithi river, what we call, it is no longer a river, it's the drainage system. So if that would have been a proper Mithi river, then chances would have been that we would have been having a much better Mumbai over here, wherein it is possible that we would have got a better environment around us. Radical changes have to be made in our thoughts to save and accumulate the natural resources, the very root of our life. Okay. So yes, you need to have radical changes have to be made in our thoughts. जो thoughts जितना भी चल रहा है कि ओके ठीक है, अरे Mumbai is expanding like anything. पहले क्या था, Borivali was one of the ends, then we increased to Daisar and all. Mira has become so big now, and then the Virar is there. So as we go further and further and further, so what we are doing is that we are cutting down on the forest, we are cutting down in the environment, the ecosystem को हम लोग cut down कर रहे हैं, and to have our own place to stay. but in a way what we are doing is damaging the whole ecosystem. So we have to change our thoughts and accumulate the natural resources to have a very good roots of our lives. Okay, so that was the end of the chapter. What I would suggest is that you can go through the different questions which are given in the exercise over here. They are quite simple as such. In case you find any of the answer to be tricky, where you are not able to get the answer for this particular question, you can just let me know in our group so that I can tell you what exactly the answer for this is lying. I would like you to get this answer, so that in a way it will also help you to, when you're trying to find out the answers, you will try to learn the chapter properly, or not learn, but at least go through the chapter properly to find these answers. So let this be an exercise on your part, that you are trying to find out the answers to these particular questions which are there behind this particular chapter, so that you are able to you are reading this chapter properly from the textbook and getting the answers for yourself. Yes, but if at all you have any doubts, I'm always there. Okay, yeah.